Jeremy Rosenthal is back on the show, founder of TexasDefenseFirm.com. Explain to me what's going on in the Supreme Court. I didn't know there was something important going on today, and then I look, and they were both the big networks were cutting into live coverage. Tell me about Murthy versus Missouri.
Big case. So when, for instance, you're getting into a fight with your big brother, and your big brother just makes a fist, and then you run away because it's your big brother. That's kind of the argument that's being made right now against the federal government. Your social media providers, Twitter or X, Facebook, anybody and everybody, what they're saying is, and the state of Missouri brought this lawsuit on their behalf, which is why they're in the name. Basically, what they're saying is, look, we've got letters from the federal government telling us that they're concerned about things that we put on there. Now, the government would tell you we're concerned about fake news. We're concerned about things that are to national security. Missouri said, no, you really don't like our opinion because we're conservative. And the question is at what point is the government crossing a line when they send you a polite letter, right? It's the big brother, maybe, who's just pulling out their fist, and is that chilling free speech? So that's fundamentally the issue here.
Well, what do you think, Jeremy?
Well, so the court did not extend an injunction on it, which I thought was pretty interesting. And based on the questioning that I think was lobbed out there today, I think the government may win this one. And the government's argument is, well, okay, sometimes we've got to collaborate for national security. Sometimes we've got to communicate with you about whatever important information there is, and not everything is a threat. And I think the law kind of says, well, if the government is coercing these carriers, that's when they cross the line. But look, nothing says I love you quite like certified mail, right? I mean, is there a nice letter that you can get from the government? I don't know. So I think that their point, Missouri's point's well taken. If the federal government, if the Department of Justice or anybody sends Twitter a letter, I mean, it's kind of scary. And is it a threat? Even if it's not threatening anything, I don't know.
So do we have any precedent that they're looking at or bouncing off of? Like did I don't know, Ulysses Grant send a letter to a telegraph company back in the day, and so we have some proceeding or precedent?
The issue is coercion, right? And I know that the powers that be, the people who are running for office, the ones that are kind of grandstanding out there, I mean, I think those guys kind of want this to be about their viewpoints and saying, well, we're the ones that are the victims getting squashed here. Really, this is about when and where does the government coerce you? If you remember, I'm sure you've seen the movie Straight Outta Compton, maybe multiple times. I don't know. Have you?
No, I haven't seen it. I'm familiar with the NWA story, so I saw it in real time.
There's this, and I don't want to ruin this for all of the listeners here. There's a scene from there where Eazy-E, where they get a letter from the FBI that says, hey, and it doesn't say anything more than, hey guys, we're watching you, and America's kids are watching you, and the manager's like, my God, this is a threat. You guys are getting threatened by the FBI. We need to clean up our act. At which point Eazy-E says, no, now we're going to double down. But this is exactly sort of the argument here, by contacting these carriers, by contacting these folks, does that harm free speech? It's a really great legal question. It's very interesting. And really, I was kind of surprised to see that the Fifth Circuit in New Orleans is known as one of the most conservative federal districts. They sided with Missouri, and they said, U.S. government, you cannot send any more letters to these companies. And they modified it, went back and forth. But the U.S. Supreme Court said, no, we're going to think about this. And while we're thinking about it, government, you write whatever letters you want to these carriers. So it's a bit of an indication that that they may side with the administration on this one.
Well, Jeremy Rosenthal, I thought when you were mentioning what was going on with Eazy-E and whatnot, I thought you were going to delve into the 2 Live Crew situation, because as I've heard from other lawyers before, some of our First Amendment boundaries were set by that case. You know, and for younger people, you don't remember, it was back in the day. It was Tipper Gore. It was Luke Skywalker from 2 Live Crew. Is there a connection there?
Okay, so I love talking First Amendment. If we think about it like this, okay, I, Jeremy Rosenthal, I don't need the First Amendment. I don't, because I don't go out and say I hope I don't. I don't say crazy, stupid things that's going to make the government hate me. It's the guys like 2 Live Crew that say crazy things that we all hate, right? So the question is, what would they do with 2 Live Crew in North Korea or Iraq or some country that has Venezuela that has a third world sense of justice?
Yeah, they might line them up against the wall and just shoot them, right? Yeah,
exactly. But in America, we don't do that. And again, I could, and to that point, I would be just fine in North Korea too, or in Venezuela, or in any of these countries, because I don't hack people off, or at least, again, I hope not. And so that's what the First Amendment really means in my mind. So I think there's a direct correlation, of course.
Wow. So, look, I'm one of the guys to be lined up against the wall if this goes the wrong way. So thank you very much for filling us in. Jeremy Rosenthal, look for him on TexasDefenseFirm.com. Thanks for being on the show again, Jeremy.
Thank you.